Well, I'd like to say good evening and welcome to everyone, and thanks so much for joining us tonight. At Wallace Pearson Travel, we like to say that travel is about who you know, and we'd like to introduce you. We do have with us this evening Debbie Kellogg.
Hi,
And
everybody. Hi.
this is Eric Pearson, and I'm Angela Pearson, and I'd like to just also go ahead and welcome Angie Wallace with us. Our agency is super excited to be able to share with you some Ted Turner information. But with that, Doug, we would love to hear all the amazing updates that you've got for us this evening.
All right. Well, the number one most important thing about the properties of Ted Turner Reserves is we're open. We have, COVID has been really difficult for a lot of people. It was tough for us, but I'll get to some details later. But little background on me. I grew up in Austin, Texas, went to the University of Texas. I thought I would live in Texas my whole life. I'm one of those Texans who just thinks it's a great place. But I met Ted Turner in 1990 and was offered the opportunity to be one of his salespeople. And I sold cable television like CNN and TNT and TBS, Cartoon Network, Turner Classic Movie for almost 25 years. And I remember along the way when Ted first made a lot of money, and I always respected that he bought land. He loved land, and he fell in love with conservation efforts and all that stuff. But I didn't know till 25 years later, when I retired from Turner Broadcasting, Ted had since sold out, that Ted had a plan all along. And I went off, and I like to mountain climb. Some of you might have heard, I'm obsessed with climbing the highest mountain in places. I've climbed all the high points of the 50 states. I've climbed South America's high point, Europe's high point. I've been to Africa's, Kilimanjaro twice. I'd go again. If anybody wants to go, I'll go with you. I just love doing that stuff. And I got a call about 2.5 years ago from Ted Turner's COO and CFO. And he told me how Ted was going to really put his money where his mouth is. And he's never going to let anybody develop all the land he owns. Ted owns 2.1 million acres of land. Some are in Montana, some are in Kansas, South Dakota, Nebraska. But 1.1 million of the 2.1 million is in New Mexico. And in a little bit, I'm going to get a slide up and I'm going to show you this stuff. But imagine Ted COO told me about what Ted wants to do, and that is open up this land that he has. He wants to start in New Mexico and let people come be out in nature, see the bison having their babies, see the elks running around, see the bear and the cub, see the fish that someone hasn't fished in 100 years that Ted worked so hard to help bring the Rio Grande cutthroat trout back to a large population. And now you can fish it and actually keep some, all that stuff. And I was like, what can I do? And Ted's COO said, look, Ted, his family. You guys think alike. You love nature. I know you don't know a lot about traveling as a business, but you travel a lot as a person. So they invited me to come out. I went out there. I climbed the highest mountain. It was 13,000 feet. And I just fell in love with Vermejo. And I'm going to switch to sharing a screen and show you the picture that I first saw when I got to Vermejo, which was the lodge, the headquarters. I stayed here and I talked to them for a little bit and I said, what do you need me to do? And they said, look, Vermejo's been around since the 1800s, but it's never been opened up for the public to come enjoy it, to come experience it like it's their own national park or it's their own private wildlife safari. And I said, how can I help? And they said, we need you to talk to great people like Eric and Angela and other virtuoso advisors. And we don't want it to be a secret anymore. We want people to come stay here. So for about 2 years, I've been out spreading the word, and it's slowly but surely getting out there. And one of the main things I can do is talk to people and explain to them that when you come to Vermejo, and this is where you would pull in, you're not just staying at a guest ranch. I mean, yes, we have all the guest ranch activities, horseback riding, archery, mountain bike riding. If you want to shoot skeet, we've got all kinds of skeet shooting. We got 12 gauges. We got 20 gauges. We've got a rifle range. You can shoot a light rifle at a 100-meter target, or you can shoot a powerful rifle at a 2,000-foot target. We have all that stuff, but when you stay at Vermejo, not only are our employees so bought into Ted's passion, you're going to feel better about yourself. I mean, who doesn't feel better when you go on a walk and the leaves are beautiful and you run into some animals? But if you stay at Vermejo and you can stay 2 or 3 nights, I recommend staying a week. There's something different around every corner. There's hikes to do. You really can't see it, but my cursor might point to it. That's a gazebo that was built in 1905 by the gentleman that built this homestead. All this homestead you see was built around 1902 to 1905. And Mr. Bartlett is who built it. He's a wealthy Chicago businessman who built this homestead. And he would have a 4-string quartet go up to that gazebo and play down to his guests. What you have here is, this is Casa Grande. It's a 7-bedroom home that we have turned into, think of it as a unique bed and breakfast. You could buy out all 7 rooms and take over Casa Grande, or you could just come with the guest and enjoy one of the rooms. And then you would walk over here, and that's where you would have your front desk and your check-in and the cute store. But we have dinners out on the veranda. We've had no issues with COVID, and yet we stay socially distanced. The meals, everybody, if you're a group of 4 or 6, you can eat together, but you're not very close to the next group of 4 or 6 people. And then over here is a 10-bedroom house that I'm going to give you more views of, and that's the same thing. You can buy it by the room, or people have been known to buy out all of the rooms and get a group of people to come. And then out here in the back are cottages that Mr. Bartlett had built, because one cottage was for his doctor, one cottage was for his lawyer, one cottage was for his chef. So there's 5 cottages back here. And this resort is an all-inclusive type resort. Once you're there, don't even think about bringing out your wallet. You've already taken care of things. You get to have all your meals taken care of. You have all these fun activities that you can do. And some of the activities are just hiking around this corner and going up and checking out that gazebo. I've done it probably 12 times now. It takes me 25 minutes up and 20 down. And it gets the heart racing, but it's just beautiful. Now, there's more to Ted Turner Reserves than Vermejo, but I'm telling you, most people I talk to want to go to Vermejo. So I'm going to spend most of my time continuing to talk about Vermejo. I will mention Sierra Grande, which is a spa that we own in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. I've got a map coming up, so I will point out all this stuff. And then there's 2 other ranches called Ladder and Armendaris that Ted owns. And I love our mission. It's just connecting people with nature. Here's the map that helps a lot of people see when I talk about Vermejo. This is where 558,000 acre ranch. If anybody had any Boy Scouts in their family and they would talk about going to Philmont, that is right next to our property. Ted loves the Boy Scout property. We help them and they help us. We're good neighbors for each other. You can fly into Denver and you got yourself a nice little 3-hour drive down I-25, or you could fly into Albuquerque and you have a nice 3-hour drive up I-25. You can fly into Colorado Springs or Santa Fe. I've just found as a traveler myself that you have much better flight options into Denver and Albuquerque. We, of course, will pick you up. If you're lucky enough to have or have a friend that has a private plane, you can land right here in this little town of Raton, New Mexico. And then you only have a short little 45-minute drive on our driveway that gets to that first picture I showed you. So your first 45 minutes, you're on Vermejo and you're already seeing wildlife. You're seeing wild turkey. You're seeing the elk on the side of the road. The bison might be right there. If you're lucky, I've seen at least 3 or 4 bear on the drive in. So the safari starts the minute you turn off of I-25 in Raton. Now, when I talk later, just so I don't have to come back to the slide, these other 2 large properties are Ted's other 2 ranches. And then Sierra Grande is a lovely spa in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, a tiny, quaint little town that you kind of have to see it to believe that it's just got these beautiful hot springs, and then it's not very populated. I'm from Texas. It reminds me of Big Bend National Park area, Marfa, Texas, Alpine, Texas, stuff like that. So getting back to Vermejo, I've already kind of commented, but I wanted to show some pictures that if you're looking for outdoor adventure, this is the place you can do it. Again, no offense to my friends that have been to guest ranches, but at the guest ranch, you're just limited to only the activities. We've got 558,000 acres for you to roam around in. Your horseback ride could be off into the mountains. It could be down by an old abandoned canyon, maybe by an old coal mine or a charcoal kiln. The fishing out here is unbelievable. Ted is very proud of the fact that he and the biologists figured out why the famous Rio Grande cutthroat trout was dying. It was because there were too many elk on the property. The elk were eating the grass by the streams. The streams were getting overheated, and it only takes 1 degree of temperature change for a fish like the Rio Grande cutthroat trout to start dying off. So the solution was to start culling the herd of, at one point there were over 16,000 elk on Vermejo. We now never let it get over 7,000 or 7,500 elk. And because of that, you can now fish 30 miles of stream and catch the famous Rio Grande cutthroat trout, something people haven't done in over 100 years. If you are a big fly fisherman, I do want to be honest, you're not going to fly fish like Brad Pitt and a river runs through it. You don't need to put your waders on because we don't have giant rivers like up in Montana. That's a Rocky Mountain trout they're going after. But you can walk up and down the streams, and it's almost like you're hunting the fish. I'm not a big fly fisherman, but I've seen people and how addictive it is. They're out there for hours up in the high streams. By the way, Vermejo sits at 7,500 feet elevation. That shouldn't be a problem. It's a little higher than Denver, about the altitude of Santa Fe. But these streams you're fishing can be at like 10,000 feet. And even in the summer, there's always just a cool breeze, and it's so much fun. We also have, as you can see in the lower right-hand picture, you can fish on our lakes and just go after the famous rainbow trout or a brook trout or a brown trout. And there you're fishing off the side of the lake. It wouldn't be uncommon for you to be fishing and a couple bison wander out to get a drink from the lake, or a small herd of elk, or yes, I've been out there and a bear comes out. Our bears are very friendly, just like anything. Don't get between the mama bear and her baby and you'll be fine. Or I'm a mountain climber, just be able to outrun your friend and you'll also be fine. That's my little nature joke. The bison, we have 1,500 bison. When you come to Vermejo, you're going to be able to probably find yourself where it's just you and your family or you and your friend, and you're surrounded by 500 bison. The guide has gotten you in a position where you're in the car and you're taking video. And I mean, it's not like one bison. There's 500 surrounding you. And if you look in the back of this picture, that's a baby bison. We call them cinnamon. The first 3 months of their life, a bison looks like a baby cinnamon calf. And then when they hit 3 or 4 months, they develop that hunch and the horns start coming out and they start looking like a bison. We offer photography tours, cooking classes. There's nothing we can't do for you. The gentleman that runs our property, as Angela and Erica know, used to work at Ranch at Rock Creek, and before that he opened up Amangiri. He knows how to run hospitality, and anything you guys want, we can make happen. If you want a hot air balloon, if you want to do a helicopter ride, certainly there might be a cost to it, but we can make it happen. So, and I was telling some people just earlier today, we have been full all summer. I'd love to say it's because they have a great sales guy, meaning me, but really it's because we're open and it's a safe place to come. Again, we've had 0 COVID incidents. We are starting to fill up for November, and right now there's space available in December, around the holidays, around New Year's, and into January and February. So now's the time. I know people are still a little hesitant to travel. I've flown on Delta at least 5 times this summer, and I've felt safer than I ever have. It's a clean, they keep the center seat open. And you just get yourself to Vermejo, and then you're in heaven because there's not many people around to even come close to you. The inside of some of the rooms at Vermejo, this is what a room inside Casa Grande looks like. Down below on the right, that's the original marble from 1902 sink. There's a marble tub. There is a modern shower in there. So it has the look and feel of the early 1900s, but trust me, the bed's very comfortable. The amenities are fantastic. The meals are created by Chef Giovanni Lanzati, who, even though he was born an Italian and grew up in England, he's really a good old Dallas, Texas guy, and he's worked at some of the nicer properties, and we've been thrilled to have him for going on 2 years now. And whether you like beef, bison, antelope, elk, you're going to get a full dose of protein. We can handle any kind of vegetarian or vegan meal or kosher meals. Again, if you're allergic to something, we're going to take care of you. The meals are fantastic. Now, this is the lobby of Casa Grande. And again, if you were just taking one of the rooms, you would be more than welcome to go read a book here, have a morning cup of coffee, an evening cocktail here. If someone bought out the 7 rooms, then they can have their meals in this room. So meals are not normally here, but that is a large dining table behind the crushed blue velvet couch. And then I love to point out that that is a stuffed bald eagle from 1903 up next to the bison head. That, of course, would be illegal today. But back then, somebody decided to stuff one. And it's a beautiful animal. You will see bald and golden eagles on the property. Now, this is the other 10-bedroom room. It's the other side of the dining room from Casa Grande. These 10 rooms just got a facelift at like June of this year. That's a new fire pit where you can sit out the sun. The windows are looking out toward the sunset, toward the southwest, and these rooms are fantastic. The room on the upper right has a fireplace and a king bed. The lower right has, I think, a fireplace, but you're looking out at the sunset, and that couch and chair, you would pull those curtains apart. You wouldn't even have to go outside, and you'd have a beautiful sunset. The room on the left here has been quite popular. It's our lofted room. That's a king-size bed down low with a beautiful bath down low. You go up the steps. There's 2 very comfortable twin beds and their own bathroom upstairs. So a lovely room for 4 people, obviously perfect for a family of 4. There is a massage treatment room within this house. We're careful not to call it a spa because it doesn't have a full spa service, but you can absolutely get a massage at Vermejo and take your robe and walk down, and there's a lovely waiting room, and then you would be asked to come in and you can get a wonderful massage at the Turner House. These rooms have been, as they say in the sales business, selling like hotcakes all summer. Now, if you drove 45 more minutes away from I-25, so now we're going up in the mountains. Those are the 13,000-foot mountains I was talking about in the background. This is a lovely 8-bedroom cottage called Costilla. It sits at 10,500 feet, and all 8 rooms look out to the sunset. So they're looking out toward Taos. That's a good view on the left of what the balcony looks like. And then that would be looking out toward the southwest. And I mean, that valley down there, sometimes the bison, the elk are out there grazing. It is just spectacular. That's one of the king-size bedrooms. There's also some rooms up here that have 2 queens. So if 2 people wanted to take the king room, but they had 3 or 4 kids that could share the queen bed, you could do that. And then that's the lobby. This has a executive chef at it all times. It's so that you don't have to come down to the headquarters to have dinner. You can certainly come down if you want, but the executive chef's up here with the full staff, and the meals are exactly like Giovanni does down below. His executive sous chef handles things up here, and the meals are wonderful. Now, that has been all of Vermejo. And again, I think Vermejo, if I was going to go someplace, that's where I want to take my family. We pride ourselves. Anybody who stayed at Vermejo, I think the number one thing they would tell you is the employees are so nice and they love working there that they feel like family. And I think that's a testament to any great resort should be, that you're not leaving there going, oh, well, this was good, that was good, but the people sure weren't nice. We love that our staff loves working there. They've all bought into Ted's conservation mission, and we're really proud of our staff. The other places I'll cover real quickly. Ladder, I jokingly say, is the small ranch, only 156,000 acres. That's about the size of Zion National Park. In this case, you're buying out Ted's private house. It's a 4-bedroom house. I'll show it to you in a second. But if you buy this house, you get a private chef, a private guide to drive you around. You can see wildlife. You can go to historic tours. Unfortunately, there were a lot of battles between the United States Army and the Indian population that happened in this area. You'll find arrowheads. You'll see Indian carvings on the rocks. It's really a special place. Unlike Vermejo, though, there's not like horseback riding at your beckon. There's not a skeet shooting stand, stuff like that. But this 4-bedroom house has been fantastic, especially with COVID. We've had families say, can we just go there for a week and just get out of our living room? So that's the house on the right. This was Ted's master bedroom that now is a king size. The other 2 rooms downstairs are rooms that share a bathroom. And then there's an upstairs area where there's a bed and 3 twin beds on. So when I say sleeps 11, I really think it should be 8 adults, or if you have children, then they're going to love sleeping on the twin beds on the loft. But again, another great property. If you stay at the Ladder, you can go visit Ted and Ted Turner and Ted Turner Reserves. We own a spa, and it's called Sierra Grande. And that is the 2-bedroom villa that you can stay at. And that's your own private hot springs out front that we can drain every day. And the hot springs are like 107 degrees. They have something like 37 different minerals. I always feel good when I stop in and get a hot soak. From here, you can go, if you stay here, you can go visit the Ladder Ranch, or you can go out to Armendaris. Now, Armendaris is the last ranch. Oh, this is what the spa room, I mean, they do, unlike Vermejo, where you can just get a standard Swedish massage, here we can do a hot rock massage. We can do a pedicure, manicure, facial. My wife loves this place. My mom's been out here too. And there's a couple pictures of the rooms. Now, and by the way, this, if you ever come here, this is not an all-inclusive like the Ladder and Armendaris. You would just stay here like you would stay at any regular hotel. And Truth or Consequences is a lovely, as I said earlier, eclectic is the word that comes to mind, town. If you blink, you miss it as you're driving down the highway, but if you stay there, wonderful artwork and music, and it's just a very cool town. Now, the last property is Armendaris. This is a ranch that Ted currently has a beautiful house that someday he's going to let us sell. And it has 4 huge bedrooms that all face into a Spanish courtyard. And then you've got these views like hot air ballooning that we can arrange for a honeymoon or engagement. Remember I said I'm from Austin. I grew up watching bats fly out of the bridge every night from June 1st to September 1st. We have 1.6 Mexican free-tail bats that come out of this one tube. And I'm telling you, if you're not scared of bats, they just fly over your head and they're going out to get food. And it takes about 20 minutes, and it's one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. And then lastly, our mission of connecting people with nature is what it's all about. I work with Ted. I admire him because he did make a lot of money. He bought some land. He's taking care of it. He's going to make sure that he gives away most of his money to great causes. And what could be better than connecting people with nature? So with that, I might stop sharing my screen. One thing I wanted to kind of brag about, I think I'm back, is I'm holding the November issue of 2020 Outside Magazine, and they just did a section called 45 Great Things to Do in This New Era of Travel. And I'm proud to say that number 3 is go on a North American safari. and they tell you all about Vermejo, which I just told you. And, you know, I've been a subscriber to Outside Magazine because I love being outside. And even if you're not an Outside Magazine subscriber, you're going to love coming to one of the Ted Turner properties. So with that, I'll turn it over to Eric and Angela. Let's see if we have any questions. I'm willing, ready, and able.
Okay, well, Doug, not only do I want to come climb with you out in New Mexico, but let's definitely do Africa together. Let's
All right.
go ahead and get that on the books.
You can Kilimanjaro together. Yeah.
And we have gone ahead and unmuted everyone. Some people may have muted yourself as well, but if there are any questions that you would like to ask Doug at this point in time, we'd love to have some open conversation with everybody.
What's the best time of the year to go?
Great question. I would say there's any time's a great time, but you have to pick. The best time is going to be mid to late May through July, and that's because the fishing's outstanding. The water is high because the runoff from the snow. So everything in the ecosystem is really clicking. But as August comes around, just because the water's slowed down, this year we still had great fishing in August and even early September. Now, when fall rolls around, I was just out there in late September, and I mean, the leaves, you know, we do have aspen trees out there, and it looks like behind Eric and Angela right there. It's just yellow and orange, and it's just popping. And in the fall, the elk is bugling to call the female elk in, and the two male elks are fighting to see who gets to breed with the herd. And it's kind of nature at its both finest and ruthless, because those two elk will, in some cases, they'll fight to the death to decide who is going to get to mate with the female elk. And that's fall is amazing. In the spring, the elk and the deer are dropping or shedding their antlers, and it's like a giant adult Easter egg hunt. If you find one of those giant sheds, they weigh like 15 pounds or something like that. You get to keep it. You can keep two of them, and that is such a fun time to come. And of course, the winter, people don't think you can fish. I was out there with my family December 27th through the 30th this year, and we were ice fishing, and they put up these cool igloos, and they give you warm drinks, and there's a fire going on out in the middle of the ice. And I kept going, isn't that going to melt the ice? And they were like, no, the ice is really thick. It's fine. I was like, okay, then I'll have another hot chocolate. And you could see through the hole. You could see down to the fish, and you could see it bite, and it was just spectacular. And we also did some personal, who remembers getting the big inner tubes that were black, like the truck inner tube? You'd get 3 or 4 of those, and we have these special, they call them Kawasaki mules, where it's got tires that can drive through snow. And we went and found, the guide helped us, but we created our own 1,000-foot long sled run. And then you'd get done, and you'd throw the tires in the back of the mule, hop in it, and you had your own personal driver taking you back up. We did that like 20 times, and the kids made me make a ramp so that the sled would jump up and up. So the winter, while it would be, I'd put winter 4th, I'd put fall 2nd, I'd put spring 3rd. I mean, yeah, tied for 2nd, spring and fall. And summer is the best time to come. But, you know, if you were dying to just get out and you're not a big skier, oh, it's so beautiful. You can cut down your own tree. If you're going to celebrate Christmas, you can cut down your own tree and put it in your room. And, you know, we do all kinds of unique things around certain, I think we just did hot air ballooning in October so people could go up. We had a hot air balloon where the rope would go up like 400 feet. You could get a good view, and then we'd pull you back down. It was just awesome. Any other questions?
Are there areas nearby to ski?
There are areas like Taos Ski Resort, Angel Fire, Wolf Creek, I think. But if I think what you're asking is, we would never recommend, once you come into the headquarters, it's a good 2.5, 3 hours to get to the ski resort. So what we try to do, and we love our friends at those ski resorts, we try to get people, if they're going to come in the winter, to go skiing on the front end or back end, and then come to us to kind of have that 3-day break where you're still going to be active, but you're not getting up and putting all the ski gear on. Maybe you're just doing a light snowshoe hike, or sometimes in December and January, there's not even snow on the ground. We're on the eastern side of the Rockies. So if anybody's ever visited a friend in December and you see the snow up in the high mountains, but in Denver, there's grass, because if the sun's out, you're going to be out hiking on grass and rocks.
What's the approximate cost for, say, a couple?
Well, a couple's gonna, it's an all-inclusive price for Vermejo. Right. If you had gone this summer, you could have gotten a room for $1,600, and that would have been all your meals, all the activities, unless you wanted a guide to teach you how to fish, or a guide and you said, this morning I want to see a bear, so I'm hiring you to take me out. But for $1,600 a night, that's everything. You wouldn't have to pull out that wallet again.
That's per couple or per person?
Per couple.
Per couple.
Yeah.
I think we might have to book a group and come out.
I think you should. There's a group out there right now, Eric and Angela, very similar to you, a lovely couple that runs a company out of Portland, Oregon, I think, area. And they took some people to Yellowstone in the summer, and then they've come out to Vermejo, and they booked 6 rooms at that Turner house, and they're out there right now. And I've already heard that they heard the elk bugling and they're fighting and all that stuff. So that would be a great way. I think you guys should put together a fun group and come on out. And by the way, there is a city named Las Vegas, New Mexico.
Yeah.
And I bring that up because people who drive up from Santa Fe usually get it. But we had this one sweet person who was not yelling, but she was mad at the front desk. Why didn't anybody tell me I could have flown into Las Vegas?
Oh.
No. That's not Las Vegas, Nevada. She was like, oh. But,
don't make that mistake.
Yeah. And if you've never been to New Mexico, I grew up in Texas. And I'm guilty of thinking of New Mexico as just that part that touches Texas, and there's like Carlsbad and Las Cruces, and that part of New Mexico is kind of flat and deserty and hot. But when you're up at the ranches, at our properties, I mean, that view behind Eric and Angela, that's the view. There's mountains everywhere. It's just spectacular. It's just beautiful.
Well,
I think everybody should book for Christmas.
Okay, let's do it. I'll call you for availability.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I urge anybody who was listening for the first time, if you have any interest, you just let Eric and Angela or any of the people with Wallace Pearson know, and we'd love to have you come out. I know you won't be disappointed, and you especially won't be disappointed right now because COVID. You just got to get out, and we always want you to connect with nature during a normal time, but right now it's more important than ever to get out and be out there and amongst the trees and the animals and all that stuff. So.
Let's get outside, Doug.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
I love that by doing that, you're also supporting a return to nature for our whole U.S. I mean, the thing you did to that part of the country once upon a time, to see that healing and being brought back to a sense of normalcy is exciting.
Well, we're really proud. It's taken me a while. I thought I was a good conservation guy, and when I got out to Vermejo, I was bringing those water, like my wife loves the plastic ones, and because of Ted and Vermejo, when you come to Vermejo, we won't kick you out, but we're going to give you a complimentary Nalgene that you can fill up and reuse. And, we don't give out water bottles like, Aquafina or whatever, brand. Yeah, but they used to do that. Everybody has to learn. Every little bit helps. So, so
we're getting there.
I'll be back out at Vermejo in November. So,
we'll see you then.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
See you
Bye-bye.
guys. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.